Welcome back to Remade in California. We're the show that explores people who are launching new careers and businesses or are reinventing themselves. Joining us is Stacy Phillips, the author of Divorce. It's all about control. And when you're saying it's all about control, is that control in a good way or a...
Well, those who have quoted me in pleadings in court don't understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's control in a situation, it's control of yourself.
Okay.
For example, you may have two people going through a divorce, but really the person in control is the mother-in-law who's pulling the purse strings.
Okay.
Or the kids who have sort of taken charge.
Mm-hmm.
Or a lawyer. Or you lose control yourself, you become ill, you work too hard,
Right.
Plastic surgery. So there's internal control and external control. And some control is good, and too much control is not good.
Okay.
I'm a believer in a relationship that people should be partners, and frankly, in a divorce, they should partner to get through it.
Which is often made either better or worse if they have kids or families.
Absolutely.
So in your book, are there kind of specific recommendations to ease that difficult
Yes, and
period?
there are also worksheets so folks can
okay.
assess if they are the victim of domestic violence, if they're perpetrating domestic violence, if they are going overboard in any of the specific areas.
Right.
It's a self-help book. I am a lawyer, but I wrote it like a person,
Right.
not with legalese.
Right.
But I've gone through this so many times with clients that it sort of screamed out at me.
You see certain patterns, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can explain to clients this is what you're going to go through, sort of like the Kubler-Ross stages in death and dying.
Grief, yeah.
And you want to handle it as best you can within those stages or take advantage of those stages with the other side.
Is the hardest part convincing somebody that there's something positive they may learn if they're willing to learn out of a divorce? Or
I don't know if that's the most difficult. With some it is, and some get it.
okay.
And the way I approach a client, I'm very holistic about it. I want to help them with their lives, not just a divorce part. Whether it's a trainer, whether it's a nutritionist, whether it's jobs, estate planning lawyers, wealth advisors, trying to get them, moving forward and on their feet.
Right. So they have a better sense of
who they are,
their whole health picture. Wow. So how does communication play into divorce? I mean, obviously that's one of the reasons sometimes people are getting divorced.
It's key.
But during a divorce, how does it play in?
Well, how the lawyers communicate, and if
Okay.
they communicate well, or if really the battle is between the lawyers and the clients are sort of just left on the sidelines.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Or how the parties communicate with each other or with their children. And there's a nuance of how a person thinks they're communicating with their ex or their children and how they really are not always the same thing.
Right. And education being usually a big part of trying to learn from experiences. Is there an educational piece to this?
Absolutely, if somebody is willing to be educated.
Okay.
And the court systems provides a lot of that information, but you got to take it in.
Okay.
And
how to speak more about that? How do the court systems provide information?
they show you movies on how to get along as parents and how to put your kids first.
Oh, okay.
Judges up on their little pulpit will lecture or educate.
Like you, they've seen many examples,
Yes.
and they kind of are intuit what's going to work and what isn't.
One of my favorite advice or scolding, I don't know how to phrase it, a judge
Right.
gave to me and to an opposing counsel in a custody battle was, counsel, you are not just advocates, you're counselors, and you need to counsel your client.
Interesting.
And many of my colleagues don't see it quite the same way,
Yeah.
but that is an education that we are obligated to give our clients,
Right.
I think.
Right. They tend to probably think there's a goal that I have for my particular client. Just head for that goal no matter what, versus what's going to help this family unit. Or
Well, and it's not cookie cutter.
Right.
Not everything is to be trite, pedal to the metal. Not everything will be as successful for the family if you fight. Sometimes
Right.
you don't have a choice. That somebody sitting up on a bench wearing a black robe needs to make a decision. but I believe that it is more important, especially if they're kids, if the parties can work it out themselves. And it's also very expensive to go to court.
Sure. Yeah. So you're around a lot of heavy stuff. How do you personally stay positive?
Sometimes it's difficult, but
Yeah.
I do other things in my life to try to stay positive. And I'm not a very good lawyer if I become enmeshed with my clients and get sucked into their drama.
Okay.
But I get very protective. So it's a balance that I have to keep. And if I'm not doing it very well, I'm hoping my colleagues that I work with, kick me in the butt, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's an important topic, and it sounds like you're being of service to a lot of people.
Thank
so
you.
I appreciate you being on. That's great. For more information about Stacy, please visit blankrome.com. And for more information on how California's community colleges can help you be remade in California, go to doingwhatmatters.cccco.edu.